everyone. This is an archive for that covers the introduction to ERP systems and SAP in particular. So what we will talk about today is what is ERP. We all know that ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. Enterprise Resource Planning. And this is a type of system that supports all internal business processes within an organization. So all of the different functional areas within an organization can use an ERP system to support its daily business processes. There are, of course, distinctive characteristics of this system, and it has a specific architecture that we will talk about. It also have a lot of benefits in terms of organizations, and that's why a lot of them have implemented ERP systems in the 90s and actually continued in the new millennium. And as I said, I mean, like a lot of the modules or the functionality have to do with planning production for manufacturing companies. Of course, all companies have to deal with financial, so the ERP system covers the financial accounting as well as managerial accounting, which we call control, human capital management, which is the HR functionalities, warehouse management in case you are maintaining inventory, and project systems, along with many others like sales, purchasing, and so on. And we will actually do these exercises in class when we start SAP. So ERP stands, as we said, for Enterprise Resource Planning. You have to understand that this is a large system that's used by large organizations in order to support all internal business processes along with external processes that involve business partners like suppliers and customers. So the system supports finance and accounting. It supports manufacturing, planning for production. It supports sales. It supports purchasing. It supports services, customer relationship management, managing the relationship with your customers, determine when to give that customer a call, what kind of products to offer to them, and so on. And then managing your suppliers. The system keeps or can support all of these processes. The fact that you have one system supporting all of these business processes makes it easy to share information across the different departments. So we have one system. That one system supports finance, manufacturing, sales, purchasing, HR, marketing. All of these functionalities are supported by just one system. Definitely that integration, the integration between the different functional areas is made possible through the use of one system. It supports information sharing between the different functional areas. You are able to also provide information fast to your outside partners, whether they are suppliers or customers. So use of an ERP system definitely will streamline your business processes. There are certain distinctive characteristics of ERP systems. One is that it is modular. That means that the way that it is developed is based on modules. You have several modules within the system. Companies get to choose what modules to include in the solution that they will install or what they will buy. They decide whether they want financials and HR, or financials and manufacturing, or financials and sales, or everything. There are a huge number of modules, around 2,000 different modules available. And yeah, the SAP, for example, create different solutions for the different industries, because definitely the way that you conduct sales in automotive is different from pharmaceutical, is different from oil and gas. So the companies provide solutions that, or different versions of the solution to the different industries. Okay, so modular means it has several modules or several building blocks. Companies get to choose what modules to include in their solution. Second thing is that it has one central database. You store your information in one database. Why is that a benefit? Because, as we said, it allows information sharing. And it makes sure that the data is consistent. And let me tell you why. Let's say we have 5 different departments within the organization and they all use one single database. Now that means of course, it's obvious that using one database means that you store information in just one place. So you have what we call one version of the truth. You have just one version of the truth. The data is consistent. It is shareable, can be easily shared among the different functional areas because it's just one place. You give them rights to read the data and they will read it. The third distinctive feature is that it is role-based. That means that different people within the organization will get to see different menus, and get to perform different functionalities. Based on what? Based on their role. So your role as an accountant determines what you get to see within the system. So role-based means the information and the functionality available to the different employees is dependent on the role they play. There are several IS controls within ERP systems, meaning that there are certain restrictions imposed or controls imposed that make sure that the data is valid that you are entering, that you will not commit fraud within the system. There is some tolerance, but if you exceed that tolerance limit, then the system gets locked up or it does not allow you to perform what you want to perform. So several IS controls to make sure that information entered is valid, that the information entered is authorized, that it is consistent, that you as a person have the right to perform a specific functionality within the system. Cross-validation means that if I am receiving, for example, a computer that I have ordered, the storehouse or the warehouse will validate and make sure that the computer that I am receiving is the one that I have ordered. So that's cross-validation. Checks and balances. You are making sure that the end result is consistent with the starting point. That's cross-validation, that you are validating the data entered across the business process. Segregation of duties mean that people who assume specific roles will not be assigned conflicting tasks that allow them to perform fraud within the system. So if I am a person receiving goods in the warehouse, I cannot be also the person who is ordering. So order is different from receiving because you want, as we said, to have checks and balances. I cannot be in HR and also print paychecks. Printing of the paychecks have to be done by accounting. Otherwise, I can print checks for myself if I am in HR and also responsible for running payroll. Even though payroll is a functionality of HR, but the actual dealing of money has to be done by accounting. Tolerance limits, meaning the system will allow some kind of exceeding the limit by a certain percentage. So let's say we say that a manager cannot order goods more than $5,000. That if he or she wants to order something that is more expensive than $5,000, that they will seek the approval of someone higher. Let's say they order something for $5,010. So that's a very small variance. So the system allows or has some tolerance, but there are limits. If you exceed more than 1% of the limit, then the system will not allow you. But there is some leeway, some flexibility in ERP systems. Hierarchy of approvals mean that there are several roles within the organization that get to approve a specific functionality. So it cannot be that only one person is approving a particular purchase or a particular functionality. You have several individuals. Again, the whole idea is checks and balances. Good thing of using one ERP system to support all business processes is that it has the same look and feel. So if you move from one department to another and all departments are using SAP, it's not hard for you to get used to the new functionality because you are already familiar with the system. You have to understand that ERP systems are based on best practices. As we said, these are like solutions that support all business processes within an organization, and they are tailored or customized to specific industries. But how did they come about with that solution? They designed these ERP systems based on best practices. So the best practice within automotive gets captured into the ERP system. As you can see here, this is just showing you the different modules within an ERP system or the architecture. You have the central part is that all internal business processes are supported by the main SAP system or the ERP system. And then we started having additions. So they added an ERP, a CRM module for customer relationship management. And that's how customers get to track their orders. They get to look at their accounting or their finances, their balances, and all of that. So when you log on to Macy's, for example, system, you are using their CRM because you get to check your credit, you get to check your last purchase, you get to provide some information, some feedback about the quality of the products that you have ordered. We also have an addition that deals with the suppliers, supply chain management. So it deals with procurement, purchasing from a supplier, and also keeping track of that supplier, the quality of service that I am provided with by that supplier. You have a knowledge management system. That's like a system, like a library, where you can pose questions as an employee if you don't know how to do a specific thing or where to find something. Then you can query the knowledge management system and it will provide past experience of other employees or answers that other employees have already found to your specific questions. We also have business partners on the right hand side, and again, one system is supporting all of these: the internal business processes, my customers, my suppliers, my employees, and my business partners. Majority of the ERP systems are three tiers or three layers. The system consists of three different layers, and we talked about that before. But the three layers are the database, and that's what we call the back end, and then the application logic, or the actual program, and that's on a server called the application server. And then we have the graphical user interface, or my PC and yours, and that's what we call the client. So we have three layers for an ERP system: a client that resides on all of the user machines, the different users, an application that carries the actual program logic, and the database, and that's the back end, and that's just the data that you created when running transactions. Some companies combine the database and application server on one machine, so it becomes only two-tier, the client and the application and database on one server. But majority is a three-tier server. These days, they are going away with the three-tier architecture, and we have the cloud. So we have the client and the cloud. And of course, the cloud also have an application server and a database server, but we do not get to see that. All we get to see is our machines accessing the program through the web, through a cloud, by paying a subscription every month. And we've already talked about cloud computing, so you understand that you pay a monthly subscription and you get access to the program, and you can also host your data either on the cloud or host it internally on a specific database server on your company site. Companies have experienced huge revenue increase because of the adoption of SAP. So from 1992, when SAP started to become popular, up until 2000s, we see a huge increase in revenue per employee. And that's because these systems have streamlined business operations. Companies are able now to run more business processes in less time with less resources, so they have cut cost quite a bit. You also cut time, so you are able to run a business process. Instead of a business process taking 10 days, now it's taking half a day. So you're able to run more business processes in less time with less resources, and that definitely gets translated into less cost and higher revenue. You reach a point where the revenue starts tapering off, and it becomes like it's stabilizing because you've reached the highest level of efficiency. There isn't much that you can do after that. Okay, so we've talked about ERP. SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products. And this is a global company. It started in Germany, and it was actually created by a couple of employees who worked for IBM Germany. They split away and started their own company, and that was SAP in Germany. They were consultants, so they knew how to solve clients' problems, and they created these generic solutions for the different industries. Became very popular. It started growing, and of course they opened offices everywhere all across the globe. We have SAP America, we have SAP UK, we have in Africa, every single a lot of countries. They were talking about 45 different countries where SAP has offices and being and is supported. We also have different solutions. So you have the basic SAP ERP, As we said, they've created or added the supply relationship management, the customer relationship management, supply chain, product life cycle management. So a lot of new modules have been added to SAP. There is SAP Business by Design, and that's for designing different organizational structure. We have NetWeaver for programming, so you can add new additions or you can connect SAP to another system using NetWeaver. Again, different, is SAP the only ERP solution? No, we have several other vendors that provide ERP solutions. We have Oracle. So Oracle E-Business Suite is the alternative for SAP R3. We have Microsoft is a solution for small and medium-sized organizations. We have the Sage Group, we have BAN. All of these are provide solutions that are equivalent to ERP or may focus. PeopleSoft, of course, which is now bought by Oracle, was focusing on HR. It got bought by Oracle as well as JD Edwards and Siebel and so on. We see SAP being supported worldwide, so other countries, whether developed or underdeveloped, are actually using SAP. SAP has been very aggressive in that it's providing solutions in multiple languages, multiple currencies, so support for multi-currency, so multinational organization that's working in China and Asia and the US and Europe can use SAP, one system in all different sites, because the system support multiple languages as well as multiple currencies. As I said earlier, we have solutions for the different industries, so automotive, banking, retail, whether public sector, higher education, all of these are different solutions that are provided by SAP. Remember, as we said, the main purpose or the main objective of an organization adopting SAP is to optimize its business process. They want to streamline their business processes, meaning that they want to have more efficiency, use less time, use less resources, increase the number of processes that they can process in a period of time. So they want to reduce the cost, they want to reduce the time and improve the efficiency, meaning less errors conducting these business processes. We know that SAP ties the different functional areas together. So it's one system that's supporting all of the different functional areas: finance, sales, distribution, procurement, human resources, manufacturing. All of these are supported by one system. So because we have one system that's supporting all of these functional areas, then we have information sharing. Definitely the organization would run more smoothly because information is being shared in real time. There is no delay in the sharing of information, so you have streamlining of the business processes. And also it is scalable, meaning that it can support large organizations, it can support small organizations, it's flexible. You can add more controls, you can take out more controls, it is very customizable or configurable to fit the needs of a particular organization. As we said, we have the architecture is you have a client that resides on the user machine, and then you have a server. The server can either be an application server and a database server on one machine, or a 3-tier, like we said before, application server by itself, and that holds the algorithm, the logic, and the database that holds the data, the information. That's the single repository. Okay, again, this is just a picture of the different SAP solutions. Again, another one. SD stands for sales and distribution, MM manufacturing, material management, production planning, quality management, project management, HR. All of these are different modules that are provided by SAP. Okay, these are like there are like acronyms for each of the modules. Like I said, material management, but that's basically buying material. Production planning is for manufacturing or make. Sales and distribution is to sell. Financials and control is tracking your costs and expenses. HCM, which is human capital management, that's for people. Warehouse management is for storage. Enterprise, I think I can't remember EAM stands for what, but it is for maintenance, and CS is for service. There has been several advancements in ERP, and that's now we have solutions that are on the cloud, so I don't have to buy hardware or the software. I can just like pay a subscription, a monthly subscription, and I get to use SAP through the cloud. Another advancement is the in-memory database, and that's dealing with analytics. So I can do analytics in real time, also without having to go to a data warehouse. And I'm leaving these out for the groups. So the groups will be talking about cloud ERP, in-memory database, big data analytics, and mobile. These are like the major advancements that happened the last 5 years in SAP. So I'll leave that out for the group to talk about. So that's all for ERP. I'm going to also record another archive for wearables.